Here you go. What is it with big AAA studios antagonizing men, especially white men? Why are they so obsessed with absurd race swap in games, etc.? AC Shadows? What's AC Shadows? Is that a PS game, a PS5 game? I don't know. AC Shadows? Somebody will figure that one out. Well, because we have had such a wokesy narrative for you want to know why you have like ugly chicks in your video games? You can't have big titties in your games anymore. I'm sorry, unless you have like some sort of like mod or some sort of skin that you can. Assassin's Creed. Okay, is it wokesy? Is Shadows? I have been very well versed in the video ever since I got my PS5, and I've been playing Space. Here's the solution to your problem: go play Space Marine 2. Solves everything. No chicks, just armor and bolters. That's all you need, man. Tyranids, armors, and bolters. That's all you know. Like, fuck the rest of it. That's your solution. Why are they doing that? Because they think that they should. And by they, I'm going to be more specific because I don't want people to think they is who you think it is. People like Disney, for example, when Disney picked up the Marvel franchise, when they finally bought out Fox. By the way, this is now a Disney franchise. I hate to say it, but goddamn, the bitch is now a Disney franchise. I shocked the shit out of me. I went to the Disney Channel because I wanted to see when that new Andor Part 2 was coming out. I think because I liked that series, I could watch that. And Alien Romulus is on Disney. Like, holy shit! But because they own Fox, and Alien is a Fox franchise, right? Well, the reason why they do shit like that, and I realized this when the Captain Marvel movie came out and had Brie Larson was in it. And they launched it on March 8th. What is March 8th? March 8th is International Women's Day. And it was all about intersectional feminism. In fact, she even used the word intersectional feminism when introducing the new Marvel movie, which was probably the single biggest Marvel flop to that date. Now, there have been bigger ones, obviously. But at that point, there had been no I still have not seen that movie. I've not seen the Ms. Marvel or Marvel, or whatever it is, Captain Marvel. I haven't seen it. Don't have any interest in seeing it whatsoever. But the reason why they do is because they are willing to take a loss. The big like media companies like that are willing to take a loss because it's not about making money. It's about spreading a narrative. That's what it's really about. So that's why you want to know why you don't have big titties in video games, or all the girls are like ugly as shit. Because they don't want you to think that they don't want to. Well, first of all, they want to avoid the sexism. I think now that Trump's in office, maybe now we get some like real Laura Crofts, right? We get some real titties in there, right? But because the narrative is more important than making money, because they make more. They don't care if they lose money. In fact, I've argued this with Mike and a few other people on the Savo brothers. The reason why the sort of gender swap movies suck is because what they're trying to do, the writers are trying to do, is they're trying to take a male character and put tits on a male character, because they don't understand the hero's journey. Like, if you look, I'm just going to use, I've said this before, but I think maybe it's worth repeating. If you look at like the new Star Wars, right? The Kennedy era Star Wars. What's her name? Something Kennedy? Kathleen Kennedy. Anything she touches turns to shit. Okay. because it starts with a bad ideology. It's not imaginative. There's no idea behind it. There's no creativity behind it. There's no real inspiration behind it. It's just, we're going to take over Star Wars. Why did they kill Han Solo in the first movie? Because he's the last vestige of the Captain Kirk, happy-go-lucky, that masculinity, that patriarch. They would say patriarchal. So they have his angst-ridden piece of shit son stab him with a lightsaber, right? And the character's over. Stupid. And maybe Harrison Ford was glad to be out of that role. I don't know. But like, there's a reason. There's a symbolic reason why they killed Han Solo in the first, and halfway through the movie, right? And Chewbacca's just like, whatever, I'm like, no, Chewbacca, go rip his head out, pull his arm out. Right? But that doesn't happen because they don't care about the characters. They don't care about the franchise. They care about the narrative. That's all they have. What's the chick, Laura Dern, who was in the other movies that she's had the purple hair? I don't remember her name. We always call her Space Karen. Space Karen, yeah. So what happens is this, and I'll just tell you why they ruin it, because men must become and women just are. And the reason why I've said this, I have a full chapter of this in one of the books. Men must become, women just are. Men have a burden of performance. That's why the hero's journey works for male characters, because it's this process and it's this journey of becoming something from nothing, from being the Luke Skywalker who farms moisture from Tatooine, and now he suddenly becomes a Jedi Master, right? It's that story arc. You guys are, it's the oldest one in the book. I don't think I need to, narrate how the hero's journey works. But the thing is the reason why everybody said Rey from the new Star Wars was a Mary Sue character is because she never went through all of that. She just had this magical ability to have a lightsaber, and she suddenly knows how to use it, right? She figures shit out for herself. She doesn't need teaching. She doesn't need instruction. She just knows how to do things, right? And that's how women think men are. Because, as Richard Cooper has said many times, is that women don't care about men's struggles. They wait at the finish line and they fuck the winners. Well, if the character has to be the winner herself, there's no struggle. They just think that men just arrive as this perfect winner package. There is no Luke Skywalker as, the kid in Tatooine and the farmer. He's always been the Jedi Master. And so there's never any hero's journey because women just are and men must become. And so they don't understand the journey of becoming. And so that's why you get Mary Sue characters. That's why you have the girl who just simply knows how to do stuff, because they think that's how guys are. They're just born into it like that, and they're not. And so that's why those stories fall flat and they suck. And that's why you have flat-chested, characters, and that's why your video games suck as well. Because the people who are writing the narratives and the stories behind that don't know how to write a heroic narrative anymore. They don't know how to write a character like Captain Kirk, or if there's a few handful of people who still remember how to do it, they're scared shitless to do it, or they've been scared shitless to do it for a long time because they don't want to get canceled and lose their jobs, right? So one of the bright shining hopes, and people are probably gonna, I don't know if you're gonna hack up and discuss. I happen to like who's the guy? Taylor Sheridan from. He wrote Yellowstone, 1823. Is it 1823? Yeah, 1821, 23. And then the other one, 1920.
1886.
18 something. Anyways,
yeah.
All of that. He wrote Tulsa King. He wrote Lioness, which, by the way, is not a bad flick. It's kind of like, girl power kind of shit. But
Landman.
But the thing is like he doesn't write weak ass male characters. Like even the house husband is still a fucking surgeon. That. Like he's still a badass in his field. He doesn't fuck around with his male characters. That's what I love about Taylor Sheridan. Landman. If you haven't, by the way, if you haven't seen Landman, go see Landman. Is fucking
on Paramount.
Awesome, great show with Billy Bob Thornton.
Yep.
Such and Ali Larter is a piece of ass. My wife's gonna hear me say that. She's a piece of ass in that show. Really great show, and it's no nonsense, no bullshit either. And like when he has his rants, like the one of the thing I like about Taylor Sheridan is he kind of wedges in like how things used to be and how things are.
Yeah, it's
in every character, in every story, in every plot line, even in Tulsa King, which is relatively a comedy. He's always putting in sort of like old school wisdom into this stuff, and you kind of have to be there for it when it happens. But like Billy Bob Thornton he's the landman. He's the guy who's working in Midland, Texas, and he's a gas man, right? And his son, by the way, is working on rigs and stuff. And his daughter is just like, just 17-year-old smoke show. Yeah. But he's explaining to this one lawyer about like wind power, right? And he's saying, it took more petroleum to create these stupid windmills than it will ever, repay in like, I don't know, 10, 20 years, something like that. And then I love this. It's just like, seems like common sense. He says, if the gas companies or the energy companies thought that this was the solution to our energy problems, this entire, all of Midland would be covered with these things. He's like, he's kind of right. Yeah. And it's a really, really great show. But I love Taylor Sheridan because he writes good characters. And even when he has to have the strong female, character and stuff, there are no weak male characters. Yep. And usually what happens is, again, in video games and certainly in Disney and stuff like that, there has to be this counterbalance of, well, the male character is the damsel in distress and the female character is the hero that's doing the saving, right? And that sucks, and nobody likes that shit. And but Taylor Sheridan, even when he's writing, like Lioness, it's very much girl power. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I do watch this occasionally because it's Taylor Sheridan and I like him. Yeah. But even the male characters that are in that show are still pretty badass dudes. So there you have it. What you got? Dark Knight Dev. Rolo, I've been living in New York City my whole life. Time to leave. Between the Daniel Penny incident and the healthcare CEO getting lit up, he got more than lit up. How could I defend myself in a firearm-free zone? You can't. That's how you do it. A firearm-free zone. Do they have firearm-free zones in New York City? I thought everything was. Dude, did you ever watch Escape from New York with Snake Plissken? You're not going to defend yourself. That's just it. And let's get on to Daniel Penny, because that's what I meant to talk about him. I really kind of need to launch off with this guy. Daniel Penny just got, the reason I wanted to bring this up is my wife, of all people, has been following this story with the Daniel Penny case. And it just got, the charges for manslaughter just got dismissed this morning. So he's off the hook for that, but he's probably going to have a civil case that's coming at him. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's probably going to beat the odds on that one too. So, and then like, why would you want to sue this guy? Does this guy look like the kind of guy who has a lot of money that you can go after in a civil case? The dude was on the subway, for fuck's sake. It's not like he was driving a Lamborghini or something, right? So, I mean, he was on there. Is this, let's see. Are there people, what is this? What do you say? There are people not being happy with Marvel Rivals. Guess why? Because it's not woke. Okay, well, whatever. Yeah, they can be not happy with it all they want. Here's just to put a period at the end of the whole movie thing. I've said this God knows how many different times. If you want better stories, write them your fucking self. Ryan Stone just wrote, and I feel bad because I kept saying I'm writing some fiction. I have some fiction that I'm working on right now. You want shit to change? You want your video games to have big titties in it? You want to write the fucking shit yourself. Make your own band, man. Make your own stories, write your own novels. You could anybody can self-publish. Nobody wants to create content. I hate even to use content. Nobody wants to create anymore because everything is created for them. Everything is creative for you now. So, in fact, I'm being creative for you right now while you're listening to this. Hopefully you're at the gym. Well, maybe I thank you for watching. Thank you for your super chats. I appreciate it. For your support, because this is all supported by you. This is user supported, rational mail. But the idea is, if you want better stuff, write the book that you want to read, write the comic book you want to read, make the movie you want to make, write the characters you want to have out there. I think one of the reasons, like Taylor Sheridan, fucking hey, how many shows does this motherfucker have?
He's been on he started with Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah,
because he was a cop in there. He got kicked out for that, and then he makes just millions and millions and millions of dollars just making all.
Like
these
Paramount
shows.
Network is the Taylor Sheridan network.
Yes,
like that's every single show. It's just about everyone. Did he write Fire Country too?
I'm not sure.
Is that one of his? I don't know. That's a series. It's kind of schmaltzy, but it's okay. It's like old school TV. It's like A-Team style TV is what it is. That's kind of what I like. No, he's got, let's see, he's got Landman, he's got Lioness, he's got, all Yellowstone. He's got all the Yellowstone spinoffs. Tulsa King.
Mayor of Kingstown.
And then, by the way, he directs at least half of these too. So I'm like, damn, man.
He started with Sicario.
Sicario, yeah. He's like, he reminds me of Michael Crichton. Michael Crichton used to do exactly that. Michael Crichton is the only author who had, or the only individual, I guess, who had a #1 book, a #1 movie, and a #1 TV series in the same year. Because he wrote ER, he had The Lost World, which is the book, and then I think he had Jurassic Park or something like that when it was going on at that time. He's the only guy to have all of those. It was just this is work dynamo.
Yeah,
I kind of see Taylor Sheridan as a Michael Crichton kind of dude. What is it? He owns the 666 Ranch in Texas. All right.
Yeah, it basically made Paramount pay for everything. That's why a lot of stuff's done on the ranch. So his horses and everything get paid for.
Oh, see? There you go. That's how you do it. So anyways, final period on the end of that story. Write the stories you want to see. And I think what's interesting is like you will find out that if you start doing these things and people like take a chance on you, or you independently publish them, or you independently fund them, or you whatever, and they start to take off and people really like them. Like I forget who was doing this. I forget. There was an interview of this one guy who was like, I think it was he was a fashion director or something like that. But he was talking about music. He was talking about fashion. He says, people didn't want punk rock, but they got it anyways and they loved it, right? Mm-hmm. If you took punk rock and you would try to get, go through some corporate thing and say, hey, we really want to put this out there now, it would never get funded, right? But people didn't know they needed punk rock back in the day. They didn't know they needed Slayer back in the day. They didn't know that they needed, albums from bands that we would have said today really suck. And then now they're iconic bands, right? And that's just in a music, situation, but art, fashion, everything else, you throw it at the general public. If they love it, it takes off. If they don't, it doesn't. They're the ultimate arbiter of anything that's artistic, cultural, fashion, music, art, whatever it is. They're the ones that make the decision. So write that story, pitch that story, pitch that movie, whatever. And at some point, people are going to respond to it.